Hi everyone, it's Sloth here, and today we have very special deck that actually plays really freaking fun, and at the same time I'm not showing you any of the spoilers, but we won 56% of the games in Mythic. So the deck that is extremely fun, very unique, and can still win more games in Mythic than it loses. I think that's a win-win in my book. And to be honest, the fun from this deck is freaking amazing. If you like time walking and playing while the enemy is forced to stare at you, it's pretty good version of this kind of deck. I think it might be the best one currently with all the Nexus bans. So we are trying to recreate the magic, right? We'll go into the deck list in a second, and I just wanted to show you how solid this deck is. And it will win you the games that you have no belief that you might win. You will see in some of the games. So let's go into the deck list, and yeah. And here we are in the deck list. So what exactly this deck does? Why can you time walk so many turns in a turn? Because we have 4 Discontinuity. For those that don't know this card, you basically end the enemy turn and you cast it at the upkeep. So it means we can, with this, end 4 of the enemy turns. The problem is that it's exiled, so we cannot take it back with Tamiyo. But for this reason, we also have Teferi, which actually has a -10 that states take 2 extra turns after this one. And let me tell you, with this freaking deck, you can activate it quite reliably, which is really amazing. So Discontinuity with Teferi is a bit of a combo, because you basically can cast it and still activate Teferi on the enemy turn. It means you get 2 loyalty on top of, all the other stuff like drawing cards, untapping, so on, so on. So basically, what the deck does, except time walking, you ramp extremely fast with 4 Growth Spiral, the 3 Grazers, and I actually included Cultivate because I found that sometimes you just lack lands, and with Teferi, every additional card that you have is nearly the same as like another card in your deck. So if you have a basic land in your hand, you just cycle it with Teferi, by the way, on top of loyalty gains, and you just switch it to another card that you like. So I found Cultivate pretty important and pretty good, but I've seen versions with different cards here. Originally it was Uro, but you cannot replace Uro, right? So we try to gain time with both Root Snare and Discontinuity. Discontinuity is a fog effect, because enemy loses a combat phase as well. So if you cast it at the upkeep, he doesn't draw, he untaps, which is something to remember, and he cannot attack. So we basically have 8 fog effects, and we have Tamiyo that can either find them if we need and didn't draw them during the game, or can -3, and we can reuse the same Root Snare. So in reality, you can make like so many fog effects. You can cast 4 of them and then use Tamiyo 3 times or something. And in total you can gain 7 turns, and usually with this deck enemy has full board in the end, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't freaking matter, because you just don't care about his creatures. What's very important, because this deck, you can see, how the hell do you kill the enemy? You don't really have many ways. It's weird. This deck is weird, because you don't seem to be any chance to win until you actually do, and you have so much more stuff than the enemy, then you just kill him. Usually, jokes aside, it's Nissa. Because Nissa not only ramps you, not only creates a blocker, and also creates attacker that has haste, which is freaking amazing in this deck, especially if you have multiple turns. It means you have multiple activations of this +1 and multiple attack phases on the lands. So you can say enemy can just not attack you and just leave blockers. Yeah, but then you don't need to use the Root Snare, you don't need to use Discontinuity, and you have more time to like set up Teferi and just go 3 turns in a row, which will win you the game anyway. So basically, enemy just attacks you over and over and over, and every time you Root Snare, his side of the board is always tapped out completely. He has like 1 blocker at the most. So this is where Nissa really shines in this deck. This is the most important part, definitely, for the deck. Probably even more than Discontinuity, to be frank, but all of them are needed, so don't skip anything. What more? We have Brazen Borrower, some interaction, and also the second sight is very good if enemy has some blockers and you have multiple turns because you cast it at the end step, then you, I don't know, ultimate Teferi or play Discontinuities one after another, and suddenly you can attack with this for 9-15 damage in total. So that's pretty good, and early game it really helps you to stay alive. It also helps you to bounce this one particular creature that makes you die. And if you can bounce one creature, then you don't need to cast the Root Snare, which means you get additional turn. Generally, you want to cast Root Snare only when you are dying to attack. If enemy attacks you for 19, you don't mind at all. Like, sure man, just attack. It means you didn't kill me, and that's all that matters with this deck. What more? We have one Fae of Wishes, because sometimes we might not be able to win with Nissa. It's rare, but it can happen. And to be honest, usually you get Ugin with this and exile enemy board. If you do it, usually they just scoop. And with Nissa you have so much mana that you can very easily do it in one turn. So it can be a surprise tactic, especially if you have one Fae, so enemy doesn't know you even play this. He can guess, but he doesn't know. We have also Mass Manipulation, God Pharaoh Statue that I've never used, Jace. This is actually a good condition, especially with Tamiyo and Teferi, and because they really cycle quickly. Cultivate also takes cards from your deck, so you can actually mill quite fast. Not my first choice, but definitely something you might need in some situations. Negate, Nars set reversal, and remember what it does. Copy target instant or sorcery spell, then return it to owner's hand. You can copy Discontinuity with this. You can cast it twice. So that's something that can be really important in some clutch situations. And of course Tormod's Crypt for all those Phoenix decks and so on. So that was the introduction, I think, and let me just tell you generally how cool this deck is. It feels so strange, like you are not playing against creatures, you are playing against the time, let's say, and it just feels so rewarding when enemy has full board of the creatures and it completely doesn't matter because you are just playing around it completely. So yeah, I feel for any control mage this deck is so much fun, and I will definitely play with it more after I finish the video because it's freaking fun. It's staying here forever. So if you have the cards, just craft it and you will love this deck. So let's go into the games, and don't forget, if you like decks like this, subscribe, like the video, and watch the other ones. We have a lot of videos like this, maybe not exactly like this, but controlled decks, so you will definitely find something for yourself. And let's go into the games. Thank you very much for watching. So basically we miss early game ramp and we are not going first, but other than this the hand is pretty decent. Let's hope the enemy doesn't have like crazy explosive 2-turn lethal hand and we should be fine. Especially with Tamiyo. Like Tamiyo is such a great card. I think I will do it like this. Because enemy sees we have something. And he might play differently, thinking about Jewelry or Negate. Okay, very good. Very good. We could even play like this. I think this is smart. That's how I believe it, at least. Because it seems that we are preserving this 2 mana every single turn. Yeah, you can do it like this. And this really like shows the enemy the Negate or Jewelry. And in my opinion they should consider it. Okay. Right now I think we should be overall fine. We are after this phase. But still, we have Discontinuity, so during our turn we don't need to fake it. Every turn we are leaving exactly 2 mana, so enemy should notice it. Especially the next turn is Teferi turn. If he counters it, that's not great for them. We have... let's go for No, we should go for forests. They are more efficient in the deck overall. And stop here. You generally want stops at the end as well. Maybe not in this situation because we have instant, but sometimes they just cut and then step. Okay, I think they are trying to bait the negate that we don't have. So my plan is to cast Discontinuity. Maybe. Okay, I'm not sure about the plan. Because it will be hard to play. 4. That's the best that we get. So I think we go Teferi and try to bait the first counter spell. They should have one. Okay, we pretend that we're thinking, and in the meantime we will make stops. They have 1 mana, so they won't cast anything at the end step. Let's pretend we allowed this. So, 4 Archmage Charms. Probably something more. How good is the Borrower? So like Discontinuity isn't great unless you have some kind of Planewalker. I think we need to pretend a control matchup a bit. Like I hope he plays into us. So I guess we do the pressure and see if that makes enemy reconsider. Okay, and now we can start attacking, I guess. Like Tamiyo is our big play. I think we attack with Discontinuity. Okay, that's not really the plan that you aim for the full game. I hope he counters it and taps out. He's smart, he knows how to play this. Okay, okay, it didn't get countered. So, what do we get? I think Teferi. I think we do Teferi, so we get value instantly. He can kill with the Helix, that's fine. But we still get 1-for-1 Planewalker. And he just lost the card. Like, he might have another counter spell, but at some point he will run off. And we need to play Planewalkers before we go for the Discontinuities. Like, to be honest, the first one was more of a bait. I hope he doesn't -3. He did. Okay. Okay, that's not bad. That's actually not bad. So we might bounce it and then use Discontinuity after he casts Teferi. This seems like an okay idea. This went really fast. And I didn't make stop to not show it so obviously. Okay. So we are back to the pressure plan. Okay, we know Teferi is here, so we are just going with it. Enemy is playing really smart. Normally, like non-mythic players usually just play Teferi, and then you play Discontinuity and you counter it forever, which is amazing. Oh man, that's pretty huge. Okay, you got the counter spell. Man, I think I countered first time like this. Okay, I hope it's worth it. We really got on with the discontinuities. And they are all exiled. So we need to dig into good cards. We really need to. So I hope he has no more of crazy strong cards. And so far it seems that he doesn't. Like, it doesn't probably change anything. I think it's a Root Snare. Land is more important. Okay, that's super good. I think this is what we needed. I think this is what we needed. First, Nissa. Okay, and there are no stops, so that's amazing. So, let's attack. I think we should win this right now. Man, that was tricky as hell. We are doing it like this. So now we have Tamiyo. But we can also have another Tamiyo. Probably we should draw at the start. But you know, we don't need to be a good player. I'm taking this because that's a draw in the worst case. Enemy is far from flipping, so in the end it's just Scry 1. Not great for us, but still manageable. Like this we get 2 cards. So that's what we do. We really cycle hard. Okay, so the enemy doesn't seem to have much. We are soon having the ultimate. How many cards do we have? That's actually a very important decision. 3 discontinuities. What good cards do we have other than this? Like, I think backup Nissa or Fae. And probably I really want the Fae. Yes, yes, I had a hunch. It might be a Fae. So first of all, I want Negate, because that ensures that enemy needs 2 cards. And I wouldn't be surprised if he scoops right now. We did this! Man, this game, I felt enemy played really well this. And we are so close to losing this. Nice, this double discontinuity turn was all that mattered this game. So our hand is super awkward because of the tap lands and so on. I hope we draw a forest. I really hope we do. Grazer is great, but we cannot play it on turn 1 when we really want it. Not what we want. Let's start like this. We don't have anything to pay anyway. Probably next turn we go... Oh, we can go Growth Spiral into Grazer. Okay, so that's the play then. And we can do it because we played this. So I guess it works out fine in the end. Let's go like this. And we have a blocker. And we actually can play Nissa next turn. And enemy, I believe, started. Pretty glonky. So we are in a good spot. We will see how he handles Nissa. We can protect her. And we can protect her on turn that he plays her, which is pretty huge. We don't care about life so much, because we want to protect Nissa next turn. And he will have, what, 2 damage, 3 damage, he needs something more, which is awesome for us. We have enough blue mana, so we play like this. We don't have a forest. I just realized we don't have a freaking forest. That sucks, but worst case we just use the island. Man, I like the fact that Nissa can not only defend herself, not only ramp you like crazy on the turn that you untap with her. Oh no. Okay. We still can protect her and untap with Nissa. Of course, enemy won't go for it because he's red. So I'm overall quite happy with the position. Like, we can trade, but we probably don't need to. I guess he can burn us with Torbrand, so maybe that's one reason. And we don't have forest, so we cannot ramp very well. So this is what? 8. Like, I guess. Let's try it. Maybe I should block, but we don't have too many lands. And we cannot attack because of Tormod. Like, this has 4 attack in the end. I'm leaving forest because it can double spell at one of the turns. I guess we try to go for indestructibility and then smoke enemy with vigilant lands over and over. To be honest, not the worst plan. Can we bait him into something? I think we might try to bait the Embercleave. Okay, so he wants the trade. Is it good for us? Probably not, because we die. Okay, but we tried to bait. If he had Embercleave, he probably would cast it here, I think. Also, everything is tapped, which is also good for us. We definitely need like some value plays. So what? Let's go for green, because everything is green on our hand. We don't really want Nissa. We need to pressure the enemy. Like, they're on 17 already. If they block with this, they make the tokens, but tokens cannot block. And they're 1 turn from death. Like, weird. Not sure how to play. Maybe we should place another Nissa and just pressure them more. Maybe that was a game-winning play. Now there is a question how they attack. Oh, whatever. Right? Okay, so let's do blocks like this. I really want to bait out his turn with Embercleave. At least 1 mana and, you know, this element of surprise. I will be thinking really hard to pretend that we want to prevent death. And we will see if he gets baited. Not really. What a champion. What a champion. Yep, nothing is happening. So now we ultimate and we have 4 vigilant blockers. That's not amazing, to be honest. We need like discontinuity. Are you a discontinuity? No, I'm not. And do we actually win? Yeah, we just win. Man, I'm freaking stupid. I don't know what they have, but whatever they have, we need to go all in. Like, maybe they just have burn spells, but still, like, we need to attack with everything. We have 15 damage and haste. So, tell me what you've got. Because you attacked with everything and you have no blockers with 8 HP. You thought that you are the beatdown. Okay. Nice. Close. If we didn't play the second Nissa, if we did the ultimate, we would lose. Nice. Oh man, it feels so good. They could win if they blocked with Anax at that turn. They didn't need more power, they needed more defense, but they were like so narrow-minded that me, Smork, that they didn't play correctly. Like, too many risks with no real payouts. They don't need to overkill me by 20 to win the game. Okay, so everything is really good here, except going second. We'll see how much it bites us. Okay, no one drop. Already amazing. And Borrower is pretty amazing as well. It helps so much. Oh man, we are in this. We are freaking in this. And next turn we start to be on the same mana. Okay. This will explode really quickly, I have a feeling. So we probably bounce it. This goes into play. We don't have 2 mana, so not really an option to do anything else. And let's go with the forest, because this is not a forest. We want to do it main phase, so they cannot get the discount. They will be able to cast 1 angel if they replay everything from this mana. I will go into full control in case enemy does some kind of mistake. Yep, but if they don't, you cannot really answer this at all. I'm pretty sure we still do it. Like, this is the best tempo play that we can make. It's 3 mana. And like Nissa is good. I want the blue, because it's not forest anyway, even on green. And let's go for maximum mana. With 2 Root Snares we should be in an extremely good spot. And we can start pressuring them. Like, Nissa is such a win condition in this deck. Because you, especially thanks to Vigilance, you can just attack enemy by the way. Oh, interesting. Really interesting. Okay. But it will be hard for him to kill Nissa. And we can prevent it if we care. Not the best draw of the deck. Definitely not. So what, I guess we have to go like this. Not amazing, to be honest, not amazing. And I guess we go like this as well. Well, we can cast the other Borrower. I don't want to attack because we need this mana. They are quite vulnerable. But when enemy starts to ramp, especially in air, like, he needs to attack Nissa to do stuff. And then we can counter attack if he commits. Okay, that's super strange. If that's a bait, that's a good bait. I will get baited. Especially that we can prevent damage if we really care about this. Okay, so he wanted trade. And that's, to be honest, that's extremely fine for me. We really need to start drawing stuff. Like, man, really. We cannot go with this forever. So I think we need to sacrifice lands to pressure them. Like, we need to start attacking them as much as possible. They can go 2 for 1, and probably they should, because they are at 8, so this angel won't be huge ever. Interesting choice. So far we are winning with lands because we don't draw the rest of the deck. Man, it's so hard to draw everything. Like, Nissa is the only thing that's keeping us in this game right now. Okay. I need to read this card. I've read it so many times and I never know what it does. So, double strike. 2/6. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. Okay, so if it kills, because I always think it heals you, but it can kill you. Something to remember. And we cannot attack right now. So we have like 2 turns to go off with everything. And we just keep drawing lands over and over. On the bright side, enemy doesn't know about our strategy yet. And he will know when he attacks. And we can just go and kill him. So we don't attack. So what we need is Tamiyo. Tamiyo, Discontinuity, Fae of Wishes, things like this. Whenever one or more creatures you control attack, they gain indestructible. That's fine. As long as they go sideways, I'm super happy. I hope the lifelinker goes away. Yeah, it's like a lifelinker. Kind of. Very nice. Very nice. So I think we just won, right? Enemy didn't expect this. No blockers. No first strike. No damage. And our turn. We can also go double Nissa. Man, we didn't draw anything and that still was enough. So it's 5. Combat damage to a player, so we don't need to care about this. And thanks to casting, taking mana, we can go another Nissa. What the hell is this? That's how we win the games with this deck, I guess. Sure. Weird game. Really weird game, but Nissa is all you need, I guess. Okay, that's pretty good. We are starting first. We have Cultivate. Let's start with the tap land. Unfortunately, we don't have turn 1 or turn to play. So if we got the Grazer into Cultivate, into Nissa, that would be pretty awesome. But let's be reasonable. And man, we don't really draw those fox so far. Okay. So we definitely need to cultivate here. We have a lot of forests, so we go for the island. Oh my god. I thought it didn't register the click. Oh man, that sucked. I was just thinking that it's on the left, so it didn't, you know, zoom out. And I thought that's the reason why I had to click it twice, but I actually chose the same card twice. Which sucks. At least we got the ramp. And we have to go for Nissa. Which is not actually as bad as it might seem right now. But enemy has really explosive turn. So we cannot attack, obviously. However, we untap with Nissa and we can double cast the forest thing. So we can get twice the mana from one of them. Let's see if he pumps. Okay, he doesn't. He can pump with Elvish Warmaster and the Arc Druid. And we have the Tamiyo, so we can actually start making plays, even with my extreme misplay, which will cost us additional card sooner or later. I could attack, but it doesn't matter so much, I think, and he might trade. Actually, in his situation, that would be fine. So, let's go for Tamiyo. And another mistake, it should be this on blue, because then we can play Teferi as well. So we definitely need the Root Snare. Oh man, it's so close, but if we can go into Discontinuity, it starts to look way better.
Every story is an opportunity for new data.
So, first the Root Snare.
The past is never
We cannot cast Teferi. But if we do it like this,
Rise, my elemental friend.
we actually can. and still have the mana for the Root Snare, you definitely want to leave the forest. And this is where my mistake cost us the card.
Think fast.
Teferi. I actually don't need two of them. And when enemy attacks, always check what exactly he attacks, because sometimes they might miscalculate, hoping that obviously you do the Root Snare, and sometimes you might even, you know, buy an additional turn. If you don't die, it's fine. So it's what, 7, 10, 16, a bit too much. First, let's draw, because phasing out doesn't save us. Okay, so island is worse. Let's get another root. Man, this deck feels intense. Like every turn you need to fish for not dying. Let's draw a card first.
Time to improvise.
Cultivate. It's actually not worst. It's like a card advantage in a way. Okay, how do we do this? We definitely want discontinuity. That's the card we really want to keep going. Can we draw? No. Tamiyo. If we name Tamiyo, that would be so good. Okay. So I guess we are drawing with this. We should play around discontinuity on their upkeep. We have two blockers, and this is something we need to actually remember. Okay, let's not make this mistake. And one goes into battlefield. This is more mana this turn. We have the correct colors. So we actually play it like this, because then it's untapped. And we want to go for more mana, I think. So we will be at 5 already. We have a Borrower, which they do not expect. And I think now we can actually attack. They all have Vigilance. So it really helps with the clock. And right now they don't block because their board isn't as strong as before. We could phase out, so we can block 3 creatures, bounce 1 and phase out 1. So they cannot kill us. Which means that it is important how they attack. So we phase out probably the druid. No. Yeah. Man, it's hard. It's actually hard. I think we need to go, because they can buff the Elvish War Master. So, first of all, let's get rid of their mana source. This forces them to make a decision. Okay. So now we can go with the blocks. And this is something we couldn't prevent. So how much damage we can go? We bounce 1 of them. Let's say this guy. So we can take 8, 16, 20. So we need to block 2. They have Death Touch, so you don't really want to go for too much. Okay, so this is additional turn, and we wanted to block with the island, so we lose less stuff. Ouch, that hurt, but we can use Tamiyo again right now. We also have Nissa with ultimate, but I'm not sure how important it is. Yep, let's check our graveyard. We could go for Tamiyo into Tamiyo. So this way we actually are left with 1 loyalty, which lets us draw next turn. Okay. Let's start with drawing. Always draw.
Like seconds of
Okay, this is forest, so it's better, and you can cycle it also. So, how much mana will we have? Man, this game is so freaking close. So, Tamiyo, because we can survive next turn for sure. So it means that we have another turn.
Dueling you will be excellent research.
Man, if we hit one discontinuity, it would be a bit easier.
No tales.
But okay, we can go the hard way. Do we cycle? We probably should, like we have a lot of mana. Enemy is attacking. Yeah, I think we should make another forest into land, because enemy is at 11. We need to go aggressive. Like, he can block, and probably he will, but then he cannot pump his creatures. Okay, I think he should. And this is for cycling. Like, with Nissa you have so freaking much mana that even on, like, what, 6 lands, you should be fine. So, he needs to attack strong enough that we are forced to Root Snare, but not strong enough that we can kill him next turn, especially that we can ultimate Nissa and phase out one of the creatures. So, let's see. Man, you thought this game is over like 5 turns ago, don't you? And so did I. Okay, so, very moderate attack. Very moderate. We could phase out and force him to actually decide what he wants to do. Yep, I think that's correct. It costs us 1 card, but we will cycle anyway. And Root Snare is something we definitely don't discard. Let's see, because right now he should activate the ability. If he doesn't, we don't need to block, which is freaking huge. So do we want to do it like this? We lose both. Ultimate is tapped, but we have Root Snare, so let's try it. I think it's okay. Like, not perfectly sure, but it has its merit, okay? It has its merit. And let's tap like this. It's not like we are casting anything, like the combat phase is all that matters. Okay, that's something. So, we gained another turn, thanks to his, in my opinion, poor attack and poor decision. So blue. Way too blue for me. I don't like what I see. So, discontinuity, definitely.
To the library.
At some point we have to draw it. Nice. It means stop at the upkeep. And ultimating Nissa, I guess. Yes. Right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 3 blue. Perfect. So, what exactly this does? Indestructible and a number of forest cards. I think that could prove handy. Because, you know, lands are pretty good. Okay, we don't get triggers because we cannot pay. We still have Nissa, so we can cycle her.
Time to improvise.
Like, honestly, this is better. Growth Spiral is actually important. So, let's see if enemy has counter spell. And in response, we use our own Teferi because we want to draw.
Think fast.
Tamiyo is great draw. Man, this deck is freaking insane. Like, the situation how you can pull, you know, win out of nowhere is extreme. Like, we just won this game. Man, I didn't expect it goes so well. At start we were so freaking dead. Like the fact that we got Tamiyo and another Tamiyo and this Root Snare was such a huge deal.